Hello and welcome to my review of Despicable Me, starring Steve Carell. Inception. Wait, there are other movies? Yep. Before we witness Christopher Nolan's epic masterpiece, we need to sit through an animated Steve Carell movie and a reboot of a franchise that, quite frankly, desperately needs an overhaul. Predators. Thankfully, the Steve Carell movie actually turned out pretty good. This movie deals with an eccentric supervillain played by Steve Carell, who is desperately trying to live up to the other new villains who are running around, like this one guy who stole the pyramids of Egypt, voiced by Jason Segel. He figures out that the only way to do this is to somehow corrupt the fabric of space and time and steal the moon. Through this eccentric plan, he somehow gets in the tussle with the other guy I mentioned earlier, which involves a shrink ray that is needed for the plan. And through a series of events that I'm not going to spoil, he ends up with 3 kids on his front lawn ready to be adopted. You're just going to have to trust me that in the movie, makes a lot more sense. Villains. We all love them. And especially in animated movies, people have stated that they often overshadow the heroes. So this movie actually does a clever thing and focuses an entire movie on a villain that would probably have overshadowed a hero in another worse movie. This actually makes for one of the more clever animated movies I've seen this year. Let's start out with the really awesome voice acting. First off, there's Steve Carell, who I just love. He plays the lead character, Gru. Whether it be on The Office, or Date Night, or Get Smart, or whatever hilarious movie he's starring in, he brings a great energy of bravado to whatever he's doing. He just has a great manic comedic timing, and he brings that to this character so perfectly. He has this great accent, he always says the just right funny thing, and he's one of these characters that I love that will always make a snarky and hilarious comment that'll just have you rolling around in your seat. And the Carell party certainly doesn't end here, with Dinner for Schmucks coming out in just a couple weeks. I'm not a schmuck. Can we go see that movie? Yes, we can, but I'm in the middle of the Despicable Me review right now. Let's worry about that review, not the future, okay? Hey. Other comedic voice talent in this movie include Jason Segel, Russell Brand, and Will Arnett. For the most part, do a good job, but I found Jason Segel's character to be a little annoying. He wasn't horrible, but he just never felt like he should be the antagonist of the film. He just felt like a nerd. And I get that may be the point, but still, I just never thought he was a necessary or good character in this film, and I really thought they could have gone with someone who was just more pure evil to offset Gru's more offbeat evil. But the best thing about this movie, it's really, really funny in some parts. It's not... I would like to say that it's almost as funny and surprising as Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. It wasn't really that good, but it was definitely pretty funny. First off, it was very creative in some scenes. You really don't expect some of the things that come out of this guy's mouth, or some of just the really clever sight gags that they have in here. There are a couple sight gags that really had me laughing. It's also just a genuinely cool character, and it's a great concept for a movie that lends to a lot of hilarious comedic moments.
It's not against the law, it's just unrecommended.
What?
Feeding an orangutan an apple.
Okay. Anyway, I also thought there was some very nice silent comedy in this movie involving Gru's minions. You'd think that those kind of characters would get really annoying, but to be honest with you, they're the best part of the film. They're just really great physical silent comedy. Also, I thought there was some very nice Looney Tunes style action. Definitely don't expect this action, or the movie in general, to abide by the laws of reality, physics, or anything in pertaining to this actual Earth. It's very unrealistic, but good dumb action fun. For example, let me have Dr. Ross come in and explain one of the more ridiculous aspects of the movie. Take it away, sir.
First of all, there is a scene in the movie where he takes a shrink ray and he shrinks the moon. First of all, shrink rays don't exist. No siree. Second of all, if he were to shrink the moon down to the size of a hand grenade, then he wouldn't be able to carry it, because even though it's small enough to explode in your hand, it still retains all the aspects of the weight of the moon. It would also have enough gravitational pull, according to Einstein's theory of general relativity. The smaller an object is, with more mass, the more gravity it has. Yes?
No.
Get away from me!
Anyway. So what are the few negatives to this movie? First off, It's very cliche, it's very predictable. You know exactly what's going to happen at every moment. I'm not even good at calling movies a lot of the time, and I called pretty much what was going to happen throughout most of this film, especially the ending. The ending is very, very predictable. Also, the 3D in this movie, especially compared to other CG animated movies lately, was piss poor. I took off my 3D glasses multiple times during this movie, and it made very little difference. It was terrible 3D. There's really only one shot in the film where the 3D serves any purpose whatsoever. I urge you, this is one of those times where the 3D really is very unnecessary. Also, I know this is kind of an unfair comparison, but I just kind of expect a lot more from my animated movies after Toy Story, but this movie never really emotionally involved me in anything. But it's not a big deal. It's just I was never really invested in it. But a movie can be good, dumb fun, and that's exactly what this is. So, overall, Despicable Me is exactly what I just said. It's a good, dumb, fun animated movie. It's very funny, very clever, and very witty. Despite some predictability issues and some annoying characters, it really does surface as one of the more clever animated movies that I've seen recently. And it's definitely very funny. And if you enjoy Steve Carell or just comedic actors in general, you should go check this out. I'd give it 3 stars out of 4. It was surprisingly fun. And that is my review of Despicable Me. See you, everybody.
Weren't expecting that, were you?